Hello, this is Charelle Hadrick, and today I'll be making a case for Produce4U, a program addressing the challenges of food insecurity in Ward 7 of Washington, D.C. Food insecurity, or unreliable access to adequate quality, variety, and/or desirability of diet at the household or individual level, is recognized as a global health issue. So often, food insecurity is perceived as a problem experienced by individuals living in less developed countries. However, data shows that food insecurity also impacts the lives of thousands of individuals living within our nation's capital of Washington, D.C., with 11.2% of 321,000 households in D.C. being classified as food insecure in 2017. The issue of food insecurity in the district is even more exemplified within Ward 7, where environmental and socioeconomic factors contribute to staggering levels of food insecurity. Some of these factors include 31% of food deserts within all 8 wards of the district existing within Ward 7. Residents being forced to walk greater than half a mile to get to the nearest grocery store, in combination with the lack of vehicles present in 40% of Ward 7 households. Average median income in Ward 7 of less than 185% of the federal poverty level for families of 4, and dependence on convenience stores for primary dietary items. These factors contribute to Ward 7 residents' increased risk of overweight and obesity, diet-related diseases, and an increased financial burden to address diet-related health issues. Produce4U's mission is to provide Ward 7 residents with the food access and nutrition education resources necessary to increase intake of fresh produce items and combat the high prevalence of food insecurity in the community. Existing nutrition programs in the district either primarily involve food access services or nutrition education services. Produce4U aims to bridge that gap between food access and nutrition education by providing ward residents with both. The main goals of Produce4U include reducing Ward 7 residents' risk of developing or exacerbating diet-related diseases, providing program participants with health assessments to increase their awareness of the health implications of their dietary behaviors, provide incentivized nutrition education classes and produce preparation workshops aimed at increasing participants' knowledge, awareness, skills, and self-efficacy, and increasing their produce intake, and to facilitate an active coalition comprised of Produce4U program developers and food access program leaders operating in the district. Program objectives will be discussed momentarily, but first let's discuss each of Produce4U's program components. Utilizing a multi-strategy approach guided by the constructs of the social cognitive theory, our program team will develop an incentivized nutrition education program for our participants. Nutrition educators will implement this program at the newly modernized Marvin Gaye Recreational Center in Ward 7 and present participants with curriculum aimed at raising risk awareness for health and financial implications of food insecurity and lack of produce consumption, increasing knowledge of the benefits of regularly consuming fresh produce items, and increasing awareness of available community resources that can be used to acquire free or affordable food. Collaborative efforts between Produce4U and DC Food Access programs will allow for the distribution of $10 stipends to each participant for every nutrition education class attended that can be used by participants at local farmers markets sponsored by these programs. Some objectives of this program feature will include the achievement of a 10% increase over baseline participation level, an 80% overall program participation rate, and also the ability of at least 80% of participants to describe basic nutrition requirements, identify risk, and describe benefits of produce consumption. Produce4U will also implement an incentivized produce preparation workshop program held in the same center as nutrition education classes. These workshops will be aimed at providing observational learning and modeling experiences for participants to increase their skills, knowledge, and self-efficacy of produce preparation techniques, provide an array of culturally appropriate recipes comprised of produce sold at local farmers markets, and change attitudes about eating fresh produce items and the perceived challenges of acquiring these food items. These workshops will also distribute $10 produce stipends similar to that in the nutrition education program. The main objectives of this program feature are to achieve a 10% increase over baseline participation level, an 80% overall program participation rate, and having at least 80% of participants show the ability to prepare 5 different produce-based meals independently by the end of the program. Produce4U's team will create an incentivized health screening program that will utilize trained health assessors to measure participants' weight, blood pressure, body fat percentage, and BMI. Trained nutrition educators will also be present to discuss general implications of participants' results while remaining within their scope of practice. Program participants will receive one $10 stipend for both measurements. The main objective of this program is for at least 30% of participants to experience improved biometric measurements post-implementation. Both process and impact evaluation procedures will be utilized to collect and assess data post-program implementation. Data will be categorized into training, curriculum, health assessment, and environmental components, and pertinent questions regarding each component will be answered based on the data collected from the program. Some of this data includes participant pre- and post-program food frequency questionnaires, participant surveys describing satisfaction level and changes in attitude and behaviors, staff surveys describing satisfaction with training and fidelity of program operations, written reports of staff's observations, biometric data, and attendance records versus stipend usage. At the closing of the program, all members of Produce4U's coalition will convene to discuss observations, experiences, and areas of improvement. The planning phase of Produce4U would occur in the winter, specifically the months of December, January, and February. During this time, we would organize a coalition and establish program roles and responsibilities, conduct community needs assessments, and revisit program goals, objectives, and activities. The implementation phase would occur in the spring and summer, specifically the months of March, April, May, June, July, and August. And this is where we would assemble a detailed work plan and clear action steps and adhere to them, as well as adhere to the established communication plan. And lastly, the evaluation phase would occur in fall, specifically the months of September, October, and November. And during this time, we would conduct the process and impact evaluations, identify compliance with program mission and objectives, and make necessary adjustments. In 2017, Ward 7 residents staged a grocery walk in protest of concerning levels of food insecurity, forced reliance on corner stores comprised of low-quality foods, and the mere presence of only 2 grocery stores providing fresh produce to all 74,000 Ward 7 residents. Becoming a program sponsor provides the opportunity to evoke financial and health changes within the Ward 7 community while also benefiting your program with increased utilization and reach. This is a pristine opportunity to influence communication efforts, decision-making, and the direction of a program with great potential and an even greater demand.